How we doing, everybody? This is that R nerd back at it again with another R tutorial. This is going to be the second tutorial in the playlist called R Basics, and this one's going to be going over expressions in R. So there are a lot of different expressions that you can do. The most basic ones are all just the basic arithmetic functions that R has. So you can do things like add. So you could do 7 plus 4. You could subtract. So you could do 8 minus 6. You can do multiplication. So 5 times 7. Do division. 13 times 6. You can do exponents. 4 to the third. And you could do something that they call integer division. And you could do something called a modulo. This actually needs a little divide in there. I'll space that out a little bit so it's a little easier to see. So this is obviously just going to add. So 7 plus 4 is 11. 8 minus 6 is 2. Should probably get rid of that as well. Then we have 5 times 7. So this is all outputting down here is 35. 13 divided by 6, 4 to the third. And this integer division, what it does is it just divides and then truncates and just takes it to integer. So 9 divided by 2 is technically going to be 4.5, right? But if you do that, it just truncates it, puts it down to 4. And then the last one's called the modulo. And what this does is it does the division and it gives you the remainder. So 11 divided by 6 would be 1 remainder of 5. And so for the answer, it would just give us the remainder, which is 5. There's something that you can do in R, commenting, and this is really helpful for your code, making it easier to read, more clear. And what you do is you do the pound symbol or hashtag, as it were. And then once that happens, you can just type whatever notes you want to yourself. So we'd say this is our addition. We could say this one's our subtraction. Say this one's our multiplication, division, exponent, integer division, and modulo. So now we know what all these things are called, and clears up the reading a little bit. So these are just really simple, basic expressions here. You can make more complex or compound expressions here, and when you make these are just going to follow the order of expressions that we've learned in school and whatnot. So we could say something like 10 to the 9 divided by 3 minus 1. And so what this is going to do is obviously first it's going to do what's inside of here, and we don't have parentheses around this, so around the 3 minus 1. So the first thing it's going to do is this 9 divided by 3. So that's going to give us 3 minus 1 is 2. So this is going to be taking 10 squared. And so if we do that, our answer comes out to be 100 down there. In R, you can name different variables and save your different expressions as these variables. And you can do this one of two ways. You can say x is equal to, and I'll just copy and paste this because I don't want to rewrite it. And so if we say x is equal to that, then up here in our environment, it's going to store x as 100. Google Style Guide tells you to do this one, so this is what I'll be doing throughout the video. But this is just saying into x we're putting this expression right here. And so if you run that, it's going to give you the same answer of x is equal to 100. So either way works for storing your different variables. Once you have it stored, you can run different functions, I guess, that R has. So you could do the square root of x, and that would give you 10. You could do the log of x, and that would give you 4.60. And there's a ton of different things. They got means, they got exponents, they got SD, square root, median, tons of different things. When you're naming these variables, you have to start it with a letter. So you can't start with a number or underscore or anything like that. It has to start with a letter. It's case sensitive, so if I were to look for a capital X, we have little x stored here. It's not going to be able to find it because it is case sensitive. They say it's important to use meaningful names so that you kind of know what you're storing and what it does just by looking at the name. And they also say to try to avoid names that have any meaning. So R automatically stores different names as things. So like pi, that's already stored in R as 3.141593. But if you changed it and you said pi is equal to 5, well then now if you try to do pi again, it's going to be 5. So now you've overwritten what it previously was, and that could get a little messy. So if you want to check and make sure that you're able to use the word, you could check to see if it exists, put it in quotes. Helps if you spell this right. Exists pi. So it's going to tell you true, pi does exist. So you wouldn't want to use that as something you name. There are different little mini functions that they do within R. One of them is called rnorm. And if you type in args, then you're going to be able to see the different arguments that the function takes. And so this is a function. It tells you n, and it says the mean is equal to 0 and SD is equal to 1. So this is saying that it's default. If you don't plug anything in for the mean and the SD, it's already going to be 0 and 1 for the mean and SD. But n you have to plug in. And what rnorm does is it gets a random numbers from a normal distribution with mean of 0 and SD of 1, or you can change them. If you needed more help, you could do the question mark and type in rnorm. And that's going to pull up the help file over here, and it has all these different functions that you can do. We're using rnorm. So again, n mean is equal to 0, SD is equal to 1. It has all our different arguments that it takes. And again, my favorite part down here at the bottom is these examples, where it shows it being used in real life situations here. So if we were to do rnorm of 6, then we'd have 6 random normals right here that it just generated for us. And try to get rid of that thing. I think I'm actually going to try to set a seed. So in R, random isn't really random. And so you can do what they call setting a seed so that it gives you the same random numbers. And that way, what you do is reproducible. So I'll just say set seed is equal to 28. So now no matter how many times I run this, right, it's supposed to be random, right? Random normals. So it should be giving you different values here each time. But if you set the seed each time, then it's going to give you the same numbers every time you run it, where it wouldn't otherwise. So that's just to prove that this would be the same as if we did rnorm, and then we did 6, and then our mean is equal to 0, and our SD is equal to 1. So if we did that, then we get the same numbers as we did up here, where we just specified 6. There are a couple different ways that you could do this as well. So you could specify your n, right? Because n is this first argument that it takes. So we could say that our n is equal to 6, and our SD is equal to 5. And that's going to give us some random normals, 6 of them. Mean is equal to 0 because we didn't specify anything for the mean. And our SD is equal to 5. Probably should set the seed here too, just to show that these are the same as well. So that would be the same as if we were to do this. So we could do rnorm, and we could say 6, and then we could say our SD is equal to 5. So this goes in order and then by whatever you specify. So we didn't specify anything here, so it's going to assume that this is the first argument here. It's going to assume that it's the n. We don't specify anything for mean, So we have to say SD for the second one. If we didn't, it would do our mean is equal to 5 and then an SD of equal to 0 because we didn't specify anything for that. The last thing is you could do nested expressions here, I guess. So you could do the mean of our norm of 6. And so what this is going to do is it's going to give us 6 random normals, and then it's going to give us the mean of those. So you can even nest different expressions like that. So pretty cool. If you found this video helpful, make sure to drop a R norm onto that like button down there, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. Like I said, this is going to be a continuing playlist here of R basics. So thank you for your time.